The Volvo EX90 is a powerful computer that also happens to be an impeachable design EV. So today we're talking about the Volvo EV, a full unveil of this vehicle. It is stunning in every way. Now the Swedish automaker new flagship electric vehicle will have 300 plus miles of range and a starting price under $80,000. This vehicle will have a host of high-powered tech from suppliers such as Google, Qualcomm, Luminar, Nvidia, and much more. Now this is after months of teaser. Volvo fully reveals the flagship electric vehicle. This is the 2024 EX90 SUV. This is a 7-seater luxury family mover with 300 plus miles of range. Now when it goes on sale in 2023, the EX90 will kick off Volvo's effort to transition to EV-only vehicles. Volvo says it will become a fully electric company by 2030, but the electric SUV is also meant to showcase Volvo's increasing reliance on technology to boost its reputation for safety, and that technology being supplied by high-profile companies such as Nvidia, Luminar, Qualcomm, amongst others, that aims to transition modern cars into a powerful computer. Essentially, ladies and gents, more vehicles are starting to become a technology vehicle on wheel. So we know the price of this vehicle in the United States. Now in the UK, the first version of this car will cost £96,000. However, future versions of this car will be cheaper, starting at £75,000, and those will be unveiled at a later date. Now in case you didn't know this, the EX90 is meant to evoke the XC90. They look very similar, of course, almost identical for the few differences such as there's no grille on the front. The XC90 has been Volvo's flagship SUV for a very long time. The EX90 is meant to be its full replacement. Now the EX90 is being built in a brand new scalable product architecture. That's the SPA2, which will also be underpinned. That's the same architecture that's being used for the Polestar 3 SUV. Polestar is jointly owned by Volvo and Geely, of course. Now Volvo's two previous EVs released in the US, that's the XC40 Recharge and the CX40 Recharge, are both built on the 5-year-old compact module architecture, that's the CMA, which was co-developed with Geely. The new SPA2 architecture allows for a bigger battery, more powerful motors, and other interesting upgrades like faster charging and bidirectional charging. The first version of the EX90 that will go on sale in 2023 will feature a dual motor all-wheel drive powertrain that's powered by a 111 kWh battery, and two permanent magnet electric motors delivering 370 kWh. That's 496 horsepower and 671 pound-feet of torque to this brand new EV. Perhaps one of the most innovative things that I've seen from Volvo is the instrument cluster, which is now a much smaller and more animated screen that's not shaded at all from above. It's another floating screen reflecting yet another popular industry trend for instrumental clusters. But Volvo is different from most of its digital gauge cluster you'll find in other vehicles. On the display, a special contextual bar will give you the driver suggestion depending on the driving situation, and it will change when the car enters Ride Pilot, which permits hands-free, eye-off unsupervised driving. So essentially this car is coming with its own pilot pack, essentially a self-driving feature, very similar to adaptive cruise control but a lot more advanced. Now let's not forget Volvo's signature Thor hammer headlights. The Thor hammer headlights looks extremely lovely in this car. Volvo has added some very unique features into this car, that's for sure. And of course this car isn't cheap by any means. This car is meant for pure luxury, and that's exactly what people are expected to get. Now the interior of this car looks very similar to the Polestar 3. I've made a full video on that subject, and it definitely seems that there's other people out there who completely agrees that there's a lot of similarities between the Polestar 3 and the Volvo EX90. Internally, interior, they do look quite similar. Now how about performance in this car? Well, for one, Volvo estimates that the standard twin-motor EX90 will accelerate to 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds, with the performance version knocking a second off that time. That goes to 4.7 seconds with the performance pack. The chassis features air spring and a brake measured 15.7 to 15.4 inches. the EX90 will be able to charge from 10 to 80% in approximately 30 minutes. This is using the fastest available chargers. This is using a 250 kilowatts connection charger, which are not easy to find, but if you can find one of those chargers, you can charge at a pretty rapid speed in about 30 minutes. The car will also come with plug and charge for automated payment at charging stations. Something that I really love about this car is that the EX90 EV architecture will allow for bidirectional charging capabilities, meaning that the car batteries could charge your home. It could power your home in the case of an emergency, either during a power outage or possibly even to sell battery storage energy back to the grid to make you money. When away from home, the EX90 battery can power accessories, lend some juice to another Volvo vehicle. That's incredible. So you can actually use the EX90 to charge another Volvo vehicle. Much of the powertrain matches that recently unveiled in the Polestar 3. It's built on similar architecture, similar technology. The battery capacity, the motor torque output, and even the bidirectional charging feature will be adopted to the Polestar 3 at a later date. Primarily with this vehicle, Volvo would like to push the boundaries of safety. Volvo has always pushed the boundaries of safety. Now they're doing it once again. 2 cameras trained on the vehicle plus a steering wheel sensor combined to determine the pilot level of alertness. If the drivers become incapacitated, the system can stop the car at the roadside and turn on the hazard warning lights. Incredible. So just in case you fall asleep, the car can actually turn itself off in a safe manner. It can stop and turn itself off. That is incredible. If this feature works really well, then I can see this being a big thing in the future. Not to mention in-car radar, designed to detect a child or pet left in the car. If the system detects a child or pet, it can display a reminder, prevent you from locking the car doors, and run the climate control system to maintain a comfortable temperature. But most of all, I love this interior. The EX90 debuts a new interior for Volvo and is largely shared with the Polestar 3. Largely. Like the dashboard, the central display, the steering wheel. That's very similar to the Polestar 3. Rather, should I say the Polestar 3 is very similar to this because it's all Volvo design. It's just that it's been adopted to the Polestar 3 vehicle. It is a spare minimalistic dashboard that has a large vertical orientated central touchscreen. I would prefer a landscape touchscreen, a landscape display. That's the future, to be honest. A computer display in your vehicle that's almost the exact same to the computer you have at home. But perhaps Volvo sees a future where portrait display is pretty important. So I'll be interested to see if landscape display stays around or if portrait display stays around. But seeing that Tesla's changed from portrait to landscape, it's going to be interesting to see if Volvo or other companies run into similar issues and if they change in the future. Something that many people will like about this car is that it includes a panoramic glass roof. Yes, just like the Polestar 3. Many more vehicles are starting to include a panoramic glass roof, and I absolutely love it. Due to the fact that this is becoming consistently more popular, I can only imagine just how welcome this feature will be to the Volvo family cars. Now that is it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe to see more, leave a comment, and of course, I will see you in our next video.